Hi, welcome back to Genesis Custom Sabers. Today I'm going to show you how to change out a speaker that's damaged in a saber like the Ascend. This one's an Ascend with an upgraded crystal shard sound card. So I'm going to show you how to get the speaker out and solder in a new one. So for this you're going to need a new speaker from the Custom Saber shop, premium type. You're going to need a small watch repair style screwdriver. This one's got about a 1/16 of an inch thick, smaller than a 1/16 of an inch thick tip. Actually, I think the actual measurement is 1.2 millimeters, looking at my kit. So you're going to need that. You're going to need the speaker. You're going to need a soldering iron and some solder like this. You're going to need, well, you don't need helping hands like this. I'm going to show you how to do it without these. Those are very helpful though. But you're going to need a steady hand for this type of job. You may need a little bit of wire if the wires aren't long enough, but I think these are going to be long enough to get the job done. So the trickiest part is getting the speaker out. Now, if you've got a damaged or blown speaker and you're sure of that, then you can just destroy the speaker getting it out. You want to keep the speaker mount in good condition. I'm going to show you how to get the speaker out without damaging it. Now, a speaker mount like this has got small holes in the back, and in the case of this, one of these holes is used to bolt this battery holder onto the back. But you can get access to one of these holes, and you can push through against the back of the speaker. You want to make sure you're not pushing against this black part, because that's where their holes are. You can damage your speaker's internals. You want to push against that metal part towards the center of the speaker holder. But before we do, what we're going to do is figure out where my hole is. Then on this side, right around here, corresponding to where the hole is, I'm going to pinch this so that it opens up that side. And I'm going to pry the speaker gently away from the area where the hole is. Now I don't want to pry against the plastic, the black plastic. I want to pry against the metal. So I want to get in there, and not very hard at all. So I'm just prying it away from that end, so that when I insert my screwdriver in that hole, like this, and I use my thumb, you can't really see, but I'm going to use my thumb to press against it like kind of like a syringe. I should be able to gently, it does require a bit of force, pop the speaker out, as you can see. And I'm going to look, make sure I haven't damaged the speaker, because I do want to use this speaker again. My speakers actually have, there's a little bit of hot glue you can see on the back of the speaker that keeps the wires from breaking free of their soldering posts. So I'm going to pull those wires fairly tight without damaging the electronics, so I can get access to it. In my speaker mounts, I've also got a little bit of a gray putty. You may be able to see there inside the ridge. That keeps the speaker from vibrating what's in there. You want to make sure that putty is nice and spread around, but we'll do that again when we reinsert the speaker. So for this, we're pretending that this is a damaged speaker that we want to remove. So the next part is going to be unsolder the connections, and I realized I haven't heated up my soldering iron, so I'm going to do that right now, and then we're going to continue. Now, whenever you're unsoldering something like we're about to, I recommend a protective eyewear. And the reason is because when I'm going to hold this speaker on the surface, on my work surface like that with my screwdriver. And then I'm going to use my soldering iron, and I'm going to got some solder here so you can see what I'm doing. It's the tip of my solder. I'm going to just tin the tip a little bit of my soldering iron, and then if I apply it, these wires will want to, well, I guess because of the hot glue they won't. I use the screwdriver to pry them off. Now, for whatever reason that wire sprang off and liquid molten metal went flying up into my eye, that would be uncomfortable. So I'm going to do it again with this side. I'm going to put the screwdriver under the wire so that I'm ready to kind of pry it out. But I really don't want to damage these wires. I want to keep these wires really nice, because this is a tutorial for replacing the speaker, and you want the wires to stay the same. So we're going to pretend that this is a bad speaker. I'm going to mark it with an X to discard it. Would replace it with my new one. But before we do, I want to clean up these wires. So I want to gently pull off this hot glue. Now, I did plug in my hot glue gun, so that's going to be ready to go as I need it. Okay, it's time to solder the new speaker on. So what we're going to do is, normally I would use helping hands for this, but I'm going to try to show you how to do it without helping hands. If you have a nice clean surface on your table, any metal bits, of course, will stick to the magnet of your speaker. You don't want that. You want to try to gently pull and tug into your wires until they're kind of straight and pointed a little bit down. In fact, if you can get yours kind of right almost to the level of the table, like that, that would be perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to line that up with the solder point on the speaker. Now, if I have a very gentle touch, I don't even have to put my finger on the speaker to hold it. What I'm going to do, and I'm going to try to position my hand so you can see it, is I'm going to just gently, now I've already pre-tinned these wires, that looks like this. Put a little bit of solder on the wire. So I'm going to clean my solder tip. I'm going to just gently tin the tip and touch to the point. Add a little bit of solder and check that I've got a clean joint. As long as it doesn't move while it's cooling, it's a good joint. Okay, now that I've got good joints, I want to fold my wires back across my speaker body there. Now they're crossed. I don't want that, so I'm going to use my screwdriver to make them like that. And then I'm going to use my hot glue gun and just a tiny dab of hot glue, not very much, right there. I'm touching both of the wires. Now that, when it cools, is going to hold the wires to the back of the speaker, the durable part, and not put weight on the solder joints when they're pulled. So I'm just going to let that cool, and then I'll show you how we get the speaker back into the speaker body. Now I use this little putty bit in the grooves here, and I don't go all the way around. I just use it as in a couple little spots, dabs in the grooves of the speaker holder, just to keep the speaker from vibrating once it's in there. I don't know where to get that putty. I got it from a guy I was working with, of all things, building speakers years ago, and it doesn't dry. It's just a putty that it keeps things from vibrating. It's a little bit sticky. So what I want to do is I want to start pulling my wires back through very gently, like that. And when I think I'm ready, I want to position my speaker. Now this is the interesting part. You could push with your finger, but you don't want to push on the surface of the speaker and damage it. So this is what I like to do. I'll show you. I use the corner of my cutting mat. And so I'm going to hold the speaker body, I'm going to cradle it in my hand like this so I can lift this up, and I'm going to place this down on the surface of the mat, and I'm going to press, and I'm going to get some good leverage on there so I can feel the speaker snap in. But it's not all the way in, as you may be able to tell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it against the corner of this, and I'm just going to let it ride over the corner as I'm pressing on it. And what that's going to do, see it rides over the corner as I'm pressing on it? What that's going to do is it's going to put pressure on the speaker inside and allow it to pop the rest of the way. And I turn it, put a quarter of a turn, do the same thing again on the other side. And now you'll notice that my speaker, there's a little bit of the putty that I need to clean off. You'll notice my speaker's dropped into the groove. And that way I can do it without putting any pressure on the front of the speaker itself. So just kind of maybe check with my fingernail. You can see it moves a little bit in there, but it doesn't vibrate as much because of that putty. And the last thing I'm going to want to do is just bend my wires over to where they're out of the way. And if you want to use a couple dabs of hot glue to keep your wires out of the way where you like them to run. So you finally successfully replaced the speaker on your Ascend or otherwise equipped custom saber. Last thing to do is to, of course, pop a battery in. With the Ascend, you want to make sure positive. Pop the battery in the right way, and you hear the boot up, and saber's functioning as it should. Thanks again for watching.